Instagram. Actually, this is not Instagram. This is YouTube. Cause I'm like doing it in portrait mode. I'm thinking Instagram, but portrait mode works for YouTube too. Impromptu video. Haven't been uploading so much. I've been working a lot lately. And sometimes I take a break. And after some of the more recent changes I made in my life, it's been tough sometimes. Really accepting myself and embracing myself. Having taken on some things and been really adamant about that, mainly talking about veganism, and really loved the journey while I was in it. But then, of course, at times things changed, and I kept it going for as long as I could. And I just want to talk about, like, I guess my current state with veganism, because I haven't really been talking about it much. And when I first stopped being vegan, I honestly wanted to just be like, fuck vegans and fuck veganism and fuck all that. Like, there's no place for it. And part of me still believes that. Um, but, I wanted to make sure that I took the time to heal, because for me, going out of veganism was like leaving a cult. And I always say that I don't do cults. I don't do cults. But while in the vegan world, I used to make jokes saying, "Oh yeah, this is a love cult." I tried my best to make it as loving as possible. I did my potlucks up in Natick at the Common Street Spiritual Center, and we had some great times there. I don't regret my time. I really don't. I don't regret this experience. If you really pay attention and you see this life for what it is, you realize that we are here to learn, we're here to make mistakes, we are here to expand, we're here to grow. And anything that we do here, anything that we create, there is a process where there will be failures. The greatest inventions that have been made, they before the invention came to be, they failed their way to get there. And I believe that we need to get better at acknowledging our failures and moving on and learning from them. And I'm not here to say that veganism will not work for everybody. I don't know if that's the truth. All I know is that it hasn't worked for a lot of people. And for me, in my spiritual studies, eventually veganism didn't make sense anymore. But I went into it for the animals, and so for me, like, veganism wasn't even about me, and that was the dangerous thing. Veganism wasn't even about me. It was not. I didn't do it for myself. My health was fine at the time. It wasn't bad or nothing. I wasn't eating the best or anything like that, but I was active. I was feeling pretty good about myself, you know. But like, yeah, when I saw what was going on to the animals, like, factory farming needs to go. Like, it really does. Being, even if you're against veganism, I don't think being against veganism means that you're for factory farming. We all agree that factory farming is not good. In a world where we work for each other and we take care of each other, why is it that, like, the cheapest food that you can buy is such crap? Like, why do we even grow crappy food in the first place? Like, why isn't everything that we grow, why is it not good? Why isn't everything good? Why is everything in competition? Why are so many people starving in the world? Why are these things happening? And for me, I thought veganism was going to solve all of that, but I'm really not sure that it will, especially in the current state of mind that we're at. We got the cancel culture going on. We got so many things going on right now. We're trying to cancel each other. We're trying to go after each other and things like that. And as a vegan, I went after everybody because now I was vegan. I was even in a I went from being a minority to a minority. Like, vegans are like a small amount of people on the planet. So now you're going against the whole world. You think the whole world is wrong in what they're doing, and that can be pretty damaging. That created a lot of space between me and some people, created space between me and my family, and it fragmented myself too because all the aspects of me that were not vegan, I started to hate on those. So then when I started being vegan, I started hating the aspects of me that were vegan. So it's like all this self-hatred that we have, having a hard time living with ourselves, then we project that onto others. And what I noticed too a lot, like, veganism is very attractive because the suffering that's happening to the animals, you can connect it to your own suffering, and then you internalize that suffering, which can be dangerous because some people will go literally living on that suffering. Some vegans will watch those animals to remind themselves of that suffering every single day. That is not healthy. That is not healthy. And the focus on health sometimes, like you focus on something too much, it goes away from you. Like if you really love somebody and you're chasing them like crazy, guess what? They can be like, "You're crazy, get away from me." So like you're chasing health, it can become an issue. You look at orthorexia, and when that happens, I know I was dealing with orthorexia. I'd be in the grocery store looking at stuff, and I would be there for like an hour just trying to decide on what to eat. Or I can't have this because it has that. I can't have this because it has that, and really stressing myself out. I was spending a lot of money on foods that eventually stopped serving me. Now that I'm no longer vegan, man, like it got to a point where the highest quality plant foods were not doing anything for me, and it's about balance. Because at one point when I went raw, it was like my body wanted me to go raw, so I went raw, and I learned a lot of lessons. But clearly that was temporary. I didn't need to be there the whole time. To be raw forever. It was temporary, and that's why I like veganism, raw veganism. These things do have their place. They can be used as protocols. What's what I believe. Can they be done forever for extended period of time? Maybe for some people, but depending on what you're dealing with, it can be tough. And for me, like legit, animal products have given me my life back. I got to a point where like I just thought I was gonna die, and I did not equate it to my vegan lifestyle at all, because the vegan lifestyle was the best. I was not eating so many things. I gave up on a lot. I gave up on, at one point, I gave up on alcohol. I gave up on like processed foods, gave up on all the sugar. I gave up on all that. I gave up on coffee. There were so many things I wasn't having. And for me, I feel like that kind of hurt me in the long run. And it made it hard for me to experience and truly enjoy life. Um, but yeah, like, and then I was dealing with like pain all towards my body. And I'm wondering like, why is it that I'm feeling all this pain? Is it gluten? Should I stop eating bread? I tried everything, nothing was working. Having skin issues, for what? Why am I having these skin issues that I didn't have prior? Dealing with like scalp dryness and craziness. Like it was just like it didn't make sense to me to be dealing with all this stuff. And the thing that happens in the community is you end up like, oh, you have to detox and detox and detox. It's going after detox after detox after detox when your body naturally detoxes itself, so you don't have to do all this stuff. And you end up spending, like, a lot of people, you look in the store, look into the story of ex vegans, look and listen to the interviews, and try to do it from an impartial view. And for me, watching those interviews, I cried many times, man. I was like, many times, like I legit cried, and I could feel what these people were feeling. It gets to a point where that veganism becomes bigger than you, and that's not good. It becomes bigger than you, becomes bigger than your family, becomes bigger than anything. And yeah, I lost track of who I was. I ended up fragmenting myself because I was hating so many things, and I was no longer at a place of acceptance to the world. And I thought that I knew better than everybody. I thought that I had all the answers. And for me, the vegan experience, I'm thankful for it because it humbled me. It humbled me at a very early age. I feel I'm about to be 30 next year, and I feel like I've been humbled. I've been humbled by the universe. Me thinking I was God, me thinking I was know-it-all, me thinking I was invincible. That is not the case. I have been greatly humbled by the universe. Veganism taught me a huge lesson, and so I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I took a break, and I haven't been talking about it so much because I didn't want it to be fueled by anger, because I definitely had a lot of anger and sadness in my heart when it comes to that topic. There's a lot of vegan friends that I haven't really talked to because I I would have gone off. And at this day and age, I know that I'll probably never go back to being vegan. I just don't see it. But I don't want to I don't want to swing the pendulum the other way either. Going raw was like an extreme thing, and did that for a while. And then you see that a lot of people that go raw vegan, eventually they go back to, they go and start eating raw meat. For me, that doesn't seem like that's the answer either. Like, you're going from one end to the other. And one of my old teachers, no longer a teacher of mine currently, but whether I fuck with you or not, if you say some dope shit, I'm gonna keep it. You know, I feel like in this world we'd be canceling people like crazy, people that we don't fuck with, people that don't like the same things that we don't like, and so we ignore them completely. Now, somebody, like, for instance, if you're not gay, but you hate on gay people, like, you don't need to be gay to love gay people. You do not need to be that to appreciate it. you really don't. So yeah, even if I don't appreciate it, because like, there's really nobody that I agree with 100%. So am I gonna cancel everybody? No. So this cancel culture needs to die. So it's a from a teacher that I no longer, it's no longer a teacher of mine, but he always reminded me about the middle path. Who else talks about that? Alan Watts. He talks a lot about the middle path as well. So focusing more on balance, within myself. Um, so yeah, that's why I took a break. Didn't want to just go from one end to another again, go from one extreme thing to another extreme thing. So now I'm kind of balancing myself out. I'm having fun. I'm having a little bit of this if I want, a little bit of that if I want, and because I don't want to, I definitely don't want to get to the point where I'm just like fuck fruit, fuck vegetables. Now, actually, vegetables, like I really don't like vegetables like that. I really don't. But I still love fruit. I still love my watermelon. I still love my mangoes and all that. It's just like when I was just eating only nothing but fruit, that wasn't good for me. It wasn't enough protein. It was too much sugar, and really, yeah, they say there's a lot of variety in fruits, and yes, there is, but it really wasn't enough variety for me. Um, when I went vegan initially, I remember like within the first week, I dreamt about eating meat, and I thought like it was like a bad thing. I thought, oh my god, this definitely is like some demonic shit because I'm over here dreaming about stuffing my face with meat, you know. And also a dream where I ate. The other dream was that I was eating my brother. So that one kind of like making me, oh my god. But after actually bringing meat back into my life, I remember, I remember laying in bed and like my stomach, my body was so happy. I was just like in bed, just like, oh my god, like my body was so happy that it had meat back inside of its system. And looking into how people are healing themselves. People are eating like a soup made with chicken feet. I used to eat chicken feet back in Haiti, man. You know, yeah, that too with veganism, it can get to the point where you start to hate your own culture in a way. A lot of things that you ate as you ate growing up, or like your ancestors ate. Now you're bad mouthing it, and it's no longer good. It's like you're saying your ancestors and no shit. So yeah, there's just so many things in that really don't resonate, and eventually, just like I said, they stop making sense to me. And if it stops making sense to me, I gotta move. Like when I started my spiritual journey again, I found myself back in church for a little while, and I stayed there until my energy just didn't want to be there anymore. Eventually, my body's like, this is not it. I'm not feeling comfortable here. I gotta move on. Like I'm sorry, I gotta move on. I gotta go to the next phase of my journey. And there were times along the vegan route, I'm like thinking, am I gonna be a vegan forever? I never got vegan tattooed on me. I always thought about that. Like I saw people getting it tattooed on them, but I'm like, is am I really for real going to be a vegan forever? Because there's just some things that happen. Like I remember one time I had somebody come to me and tell me that they're allergic to fruit, and I was a raw vegan at the time. So I'm like, oh, so you literally cannot eat fruit. Fruit might kill you. So I'm gonna tell you that the diet that I'm on is gonna work for you. And also too, a lot of people are going on these diets and they are not on them for all that long, and they're already promoting it. Like this is still it's an experiment at this day and age. It's still an experiment, and there's a high level of what's it called, privilege that is needed in order to make it happen. There are some people in the world that just simply cannot do it. And to go online and to tell them that they suck, or that they're evil for doing this stuff, and that they can't help it, for people sometimes are making like $1 a day, $2 a day, that really cannot afford to have like these plant foods, and these plant foods that are traveling all over, their prices are highly inflated, and a lot of times they're not doing nothing for you. Sometimes they can be even toxic if you have too much of them. For what? I spent a lot of money, like once these issues started happening, trying to like talk to people, trying to figure out what I can do, and nothing was working. And then I ate an egg. I ate an egg. I remember too, along the way there's one time I cheated. I had like I was like so hungry. I got a couple of egg sandwiches from McDonald's, and I went to the gym and had one of the best workouts I had in a while. So I thought, like, man, like I really did, but I still didn't put two and two together. But eventually, started dating my partner Jadea Barboza, and she's like the honey queen. She's the queen. She's the honey queen. So she got me right away. Dating her. I'm like, I remember she asked me, "Are you vegan?" I'm like, oh no, I asked her if she was vegan because I had a feeling like she wasn't vegan. I was feeling vegan vibes from her page, but like I didn't see anything about veganism. I was like, so I asked her if she was vegan. She said she's no longer vegan. I'm like, okay, so like I really like this girl. I really do, and I want to go out with her. But at that time, I'm like, I was a vegan sexual. Like if you're not vegan, I don't want to fuck with you. So, so I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna date this girl, this woman, then I'm gonna, or this priestess, if I'm gonna date this priestess, I'm gonna have to like let go of some of these hangups that I have with being vegan, because being vegan like made it really hard for me to really accept others. You know, I remember we went out on a date and she got sour cream and cheese on her burrito, and we didn't talk for the rest of the night. I was so upset that she got that we didn't talk for the rest of the night. I'm just like in my mind, I'm like, JJ, like that's not normal. That's not normal. Like you can't do this. You can't live like that. It's like, so being vegan definitely brought out the controller in me, and just wanting everybody to do what I do. And now I just want people to do what makes them happy, because if you're going around telling people what to do, the thing is, it doesn't make any sense. You're telling them what to do. Are you gonna be with them 24/7? If you're gonna be telling people what to do, are you gonna be with them, sleeping with them in their bed? Are you gonna be in their minds, in their heads? Are you? Because you tell them what to do, you get them to go away from their own path and follow your path, and now they end up struggling. Are you gonna be there to answer the phone at 3 in the morning when they're having a mental breakdown? You know, we need to take responsibility for our actions and for what we do and for what we say. And I'm here to say that I don't have all the answers. I'm figuring it out as we go along, and I encourage you to do the same. To be open and to learn and to be kind to yourself. To know that it's okay to change. Yeah, a kindness. You know, it's funny. Like when I was vegan, I used to say like if you eat meat and all that stuff, you're eating the fear and anger of all the animals. You're doing this and all that. I don't know where I picked that from, but it's a great line. You know, I was probably like one of the best vegan salesmen ever. I can sell anything honestly, if I believe in it. But if I don't believe in it, I'm not selling it. And that's why like towards the last year, my veganism, like I really didn't preach veganism that much. I kind of stopped. I slowed down on it because again, it didn't make sense to me. More and more people were coming to me talking about issues that they were having, and a lot of times the conversations with my friends, a lot of times we're just talking about how do we deal with this issue, how do we deal with that issue. But like we're vegans, so why we're dealing with all these issues in the first place? Supposedly, it's the best diet, right? But there's a lot of detoxing happening in those communities, and yeah, essentially you might end up detoxing yourself until you die. But yeah, after that, like man, like I didn't talk to her for the rest of the day because she had sour cream and cheese. Like that's not good. That's not good at all. But you know she loves honey, so naturally I added honey, and so that was not hard for me really. I love honey has medicinal benefits. I remember running into a situation where like somebody was pretty much ended up being in tears because they were vegan, but they used honey for medicinal purposes. But other than that, they were vegan, and the honey had something in it that was really helpful to them. But then they were made to feel bad about that. Like, I mean, they're practically vegan, one item, and you can't give them props on that. Like stuff like that, like really was off-putting to me. It was like no room for error, and you're always focusing on what's wrong with people and trying to say like you need to fix this. Um, and that's not the energy that I want. Not the energy that I want to spread. So yeah, I'm all good on that. So and then eventually, as you know, the journey was going on, um, here and there, eggs would be around me, and you know, I started opening up. Like, you know what, I'm gonna start eating eggs. I started eating things with eggs in them, and I remember one time eating an egg and getting an erection. You know, like, and I was like, whoa. And then also too, like eating it and then automatically feeling it become part of my body. That's one of the reasons why I love fruit. I feel fruit really combines with the body beautifully, and I feel like, and I used to feel like animal products didn't, but eggs clearly did. So I started eating eggs, and that helped immensely. But honestly, what did a lot for me was adding meat back into my diet. Fish, especially too. Fish was been really helpful. Collagen, you know, I've been adding some of that to my smoothies. Some cod liver oil. Been eating that. I remember I bought some cod liver oil. My intuition was like, "Yo, you should get this." I'm like, "Okay, I'll check it out." It had some, you know, APA, DHA, and everything like that. The omega-3 fatty acids, and it's like, "Yeah, I'll try it." So I take it. You take a spoonful of it, and right away I'm just like, "Whoa, I've had this before." And my mom was like, "Yeah, this we used to drink this every day before we go to school in Haiti. We used to have it." So it's like, you know, I threw away a lot when I went vegan. I threw away everything, and that's not a good thing. I literally was what 20, almost 25 years old, I think, or like 24, and I pretty much took 24 years of experience and just chucked it out the window. Like, oh, I wasn't vegan, so everything I did was wrong. Threw it out. No, it's not smart. I literally fragmented myself. I took away a lot of stuff that I was into that I learned. I threw it all away and kind of started brand new as a vegan. Um, but yeah, I'm happy to have made the switch. Let me think. Is there anything else that I've been using regularly? I think that's really it. I'll make a video about like some of the things that I've used, because if you're one of those people that's dealing with that has gone vegan, because people have reached out to me since I made that post on Facebook that had like almost over 900 comments, I think. And the thing is, like, and I muted that post multiple times because the comments were going on and on and on. Everybody saw it, like, and that was beautiful because it brought out a lot. You know, it showed what was like what was happening in the vegan world. And with all the Black Lives Matter things happening now too, you saw like the racism that's in veganism, as well as the privilege that's within veganism, that all needs to be worked with. So I don't want to be a person to be like an anti-vegan or anything like that. That's not what I want. I think veganism has its merits. The dangerous part of it for me is just like when it becomes bigger than you. It's when it causes you to become a person that is a menace to society, like truly a menace to society. And to say that it is for everyone, that it will work for everyone, that is simply not the case, you know. And I'm not about to go from being a vegan, raw vegan, and all that stuff, and to go to being a carnivore. Say, oh, everybody needs to eat raw meat. Don't eat fruit. Don't eat bread. Don't eat this. It's not as simple as that. Everybody's different. Everybody comes from different cultures. We have different ancestry, like all that. There's variety. Variety is the spice of life. So for me, the most dangerous thing about veganism, between all the lies that spread within the community, is just that veganism is for everyone, veganism can work for everyone. That is just simply not the case. And if somebody tells you that, run far, far away. I'll be so much happier if I saw vegans posting videos and saying at the beginning, you know, hey, veganism might not work for you. It's working for me. I've been doing it for 4 years, you know, and it's working for me. I've been doing it for it's been working for me. But if it doesn't work for you, you know, I have this person. That's what I thought too when I was thinking about, like, you know, building my company and things like that, and trying to figure out, okay, how do you want to eat and things like that. I want to give people options. I do not want to lock them into one thing and say they cannot do anything else, because you lock them to that thing, and what if they die? And this is gonna be, I really, because I haven't really spoke, but you know, seeing how much damage happened to me in such a short time, I just think, like, what can happen to other people? You know, I did it at 24. What if somebody does this thing at like 11, 12, younger? You know, at the time where like especially for women when they're supposed to be getting their periods, a lot of people lose their periods on veganism, and a lot of times that's top. You know, they say that's a good thing. That's mad dangerous, yo. So there's a lot of danger. It's a dangerous thing. Look into the ex-vegans. Look into what's happened to them. And if that doesn't scare you, then I don't know, man. I don't know. That shit was a wake-up call for me. I was like, holy crap, like, this is serious. This is serious. So, like, I'll be much happier if vegans, if they're gonna go out and spread this, they gotta be like, you know, I don't like pharmaceuticals, but at least the pharmaceuticals, at least they're honest in their ads. They'll say they have this product that can do this, but then they'll tell you the side effect. They'll tell you what can happen. Vegans need to be that. Vegans need to hold themselves accountable, because there are young people looking at these channels, and people dealing with body issues. You know, people trying to lose weight and be skinny, and that's a reason why a lot of people do it. And we need to give that shit up. Just give it up. Like, be truthful, be honest, give people all sides of the story, not just the good. Don't sugarcoat shit. Like, tell people the real deal. You know, so I'd be happier seeing more honest veganism than this veganism will solve everything that's going on, and veganism is the end all be all, because it is not. You know, it is not. It just simply isn't. So that's my video for the day, man. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, just let me know. If you didn't, that's fine too. I'm not gonna be liked by everyone, and I cannot spend the rest of my life trying to be liked by everyone. I gotta make sure that I like myself. Again, going back to, like, if you're gonna be telling somebody how to live their life, are you gonna be in bed with them when they've chosen your decision and chosen your belief? Are you gonna be in the bed with them when those beliefs are conflicting and they can't sleep? You know, all the brain fog going on in the vegan community, and the constant eating and things like that, and the mood swings. I mean, it is so much. It is so much. Just check out the ex-vegan videos, man, and just take care of yourself more than anything. There's more to life than just the food that we eat. There's a lot more to it than that. So Yeah, be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, be kind to the animals too, man. Like, yeah, it feels bad to have to eat, but that's how this world is. This world consumes itself in order to survive. It's every that's how it is. Things get consumed, but energy never really dies, and everything happens for a reason. So I'm thankful for the animals, that provide me with subsistence. I'm thankful that I'm able to walk without pain again. I'm thankful that I'm able to work out without pain. It got to the point where I can only do yoga. I couldn't do anything else because it was too much, and even yoga sometimes was too intense. To where, like, when yoga is supposed to be rejuvenating, but you're coming out of it like even more tired, and that was not good. So tried everything. The most expensive plant foods just weren't doing it for me anymore. I was not feeling alive anymore, and my body started rejecting plants. If I had gone too long, maybe I would have ended up being somebody that couldn't eat. Like, people, they eat so much plants, and then now their bodies can't even eat plants anymore. So you got to be careful with your body and what you're doing to it, man. Listen to your body. Don't ignore your body. Your body is a very complex system, and it's very intelligent. It does so much for you. Talking about trying to control people, imagine if you had to consciously control every single function that your body does. No, your subconscious mind does most of that. Your subconscious mind takes care of that work, and your brain needs fuel. Your brain needs fuel. And so you gotta be just be careful. Like, you go into veganism, just be careful. Do your research. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it perfectly. You gotta do it perfectly, and sometimes it becomes your life. But what if you have other aspirations? Are you gonna drop those aspirations and become a vegan? Some people do that, and then you look at the vegans that have done it for 10 years, 20 years, and then they'll come out and say, oh, they're no longer a vegan, and that happens a lot. And most people that do vegan or vegetarianism, they stop. Is that so? You're just saying that most people are stupid? No, most people are not stupid. Most people are in tune with their bodies, like, not all the way, but to some extent. If you don't